So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our new video of Ketu in the ascendant of your Dashamsha chart. As in what happens when Ketu, the south node of the moon, is in the Lagna, the ascendant, the rising sign of your Dashamsha. Dashamsha chart is a divisional chart in Vedic astrology, which is related to your career, your obligation to society, and how the karmas are unraveling themselves. Very important chart. See, if the birth chart can give you excellent results, all the divisional charts become cherry on top. Because yes, there are some astrologers, I'll tell you, they just look at the birth chart. Within 15 seconds, they know everything. They don't need to know about even degrees. They don't need to know about what your Navamsa Dashamsha is. What simply happens is certain astrologers, there's so many different variations of Vedic astrology that they just use that. But you can go around a longer route on divisional charts and you can still end up with the similar analysis or more analysis than what is already given in the birth chart. Now, Ketu in the first house of your birth chart versus Dashamsha is going to be different. And as always, if you do not know if you have this particular Ketu, if it's in the ascendant, what sign it's in, along with all your astrological details, check out the links here, KRSastrology.com, where you'll find my books, reports, consultations, and link to my academy, Vedic Astrology Academy, under shop section, where I have uploaded a lot of videos related to secrets of ascendants and, seeing that chart without even ascendant. And this is just, I'm in the middle of it. I'll be uploading more. So, Ketu in the ascendant. The first thing you will notice with this person, doesn't matter what the profession is. Even if you have somebody in media personality, you have somebody who's a lawyer, somebody who's a politician, they'll be the type of person who has the interaction with the world, who has this access to the world. Okay? But the world does not have access to them. They have this thing, Ketu is a planet that can bring a bit of a phobia and an anxiety wherever it's placed. So because it's in the Lagna of the Dashamsha Chart, people do not like to be in public so much. They don't want to interact with people in person. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. No, they will. But they will then realize that I don't want to be that. I want to, like, for example, a politician, where many politicians who are out there doing campaigning, doing meeting people, all kinds of people in person, this is the person that may actually just make a commercial for their campaign and will televise it and put it on social media. Then instead of doing the 100% of in-person, they will do like 15% compared to all the other politicians. Whether they win or lose, remember, with politics now, I see, like, it's only your chart. If you are supposed to beat the other person, you don't even have to do marketing. You don't have to do any campaign thing. People will vote for you because you're supposed to be winning compared to that other person. So what happens here is, this is the person who has to deal with the world because of their karmas. Okay? But they have this desire to not deal with the world outside. They want to deal with the world within. And of course, you will see, especially when the person reaches maturity of Rahu, okay, which is going to be 42nd year. So when Rahu matures, actually it is said both Rahu Ketu matures at 42. I don't know where I read that. Maybe that it was Satya Jatakam or it was one of the other books on past life karmas that I read. But also it says 48th year Ketu matures. But what happens is, as soon as Rahu matures, Ketu now takes over. And because it's in the Lagna of the Dashamsha, the person finds disinterest in work, disinterest in engaging with the world. They actually now simply want to go within. They like, this is the type of person, they will desire to retire as soon as Rahu matures. They don't want to deal with the fame. They don't want to deal with the world. They don't want to work. And depending on the sign in the Dashamsha, okay, depending upon the sign, it shows where the path will then lead to. Okay, because for example, if Ketu is in the sign of Sagittarius in the ascendant of the Dashamsha, before the maturation of Rahu, this person will have to somehow counsel, teach, and they'll take joy in that, in managing things, learning higher philosophy to show their, even if this person is in IT, they'll show their subordinates, and they'll use quotes from Bhagavad Gita or the Bible to show what life is and how to get through situations. They'll be like that. Okay? But when Rahu matures, they suddenly lose interest in giving any wisdom to the world. They're like, enough. They're like, world is not going to learn. World is not going to comprehend what I've said. Forget it. Let the world be. Let it be. That's what happens. Now, you may be thinking, well, Ketu in the ascendant should definitely take a person into a spiritual life. It's the case and it's not the case. Because again, when I do my readings every day, I do see people with Ketu in the ascendant, and they're in banking. They're in IT, softwares, fashion designing. But what happens is the internal theme becomes very similar. What I just explained. And if you gave them a choice that you no longer have to work, you can simply now focus on your internal self and be away from the world. Maybe you want to just do law from a very small dark room up in the mountains and send your paperwork through email to your law firm. Yes, they will do that. That's the difference. So it's not like a strictly position of a monk or a spiritualist, unless you of course see, Ketu in Pisces and Sagittarius and Scorpio with Jupiter somehow impacting Ketu within the trine. Yeah, you will find that, and of course spiritual yoga have to be present in the birth chart, for a person to follow such things. And there are many yogas. There are Vinci yogas, there's Sannyasa yoga, Muni yoga. There's yoga where in the birth chart, if moon is in the sign of Saturn aspected by Mars, a person will be spiritual, or vice versa. Like moon being in Mars' sign aspected by Saturn. And this is actually the technique of K and Ra. So there's many of that. So you can't really judge just from Dashamsha, but it gives you a clue of what the person is. Like these people will love doing research. For them, if you told them, just do research and we'll pay you. Just find out what's going on, the data. That's what they will love. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Ketu in the ascendant of the Dashamsha chart. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss this type of video. So if you want to know where your Ketu is placed along with all your astrological details, check out the links here. And remember to go to KRSchannel.thinkapic.com for my KRS vlogs, where you'll find all the new stuff and all my other courses. Bye-bye.